I'm going to be quick and straight to the point. My name is Laura, I'm 19 years old and I'm a first year psychology student going on into my second year studying at the University of Plymouth. I know for many of you watching my video, it is that time of year again where most of you might have already finished all your exams, or some of you might have one or two more exams left, but regardless of wherever you are at this point in time, your next question is going to be, what am I going to do next? And for many of you, that question will revolve around uni. What's my course going to be like? What am I going to pack? Who am I going to be friends with? How am I going to make friends? So that's why in today's video, I'm going to be unraveling some of the myths which have been normalized when it comes to what first year is like. And I'm also going to be giving some of my personal experiences which I've learned a lot from along the way. So let's get right into it. Number 1. Packing. Now don't pack your entire room from back home, and I cannot stress this enough, because when the time comes to de-dorming your dorm, it's going to be torture and you will regret it. For example, I packed so many unnecessary items, all because I thought that I would be needing it in the future in uni, but I ended up not even wearing half the clothes that I bought, and I ended up having so many unnecessary items, bin bags filled with those unnecessary items. Luckily, it all ended up fitting in my dad's car, but that doesn't really give me the excuse to do the same thing for next year, does it? If anything, it's made me realize that one bag of valuable items, one bag of clothes and one plushie is more than enough to keep me going for the whole academic year. Number 2. Flatmates. Now, no matter how nice you all are to each other in the beginning, no matter how friendly everyone is to each other, it's best for you to keep your utensils and your cutlery in your dorm. You could keep it in your drawer. Many accommodation services, doesn't matter whether it's on campus or private, they should have a drawer, so keep it in the drawer. Once again, from personal experience, and everything I'm saying in this video is going to have a personal experience, it gives unnecessary drama. People will supposedly act innocent and claim your stuff to be theirs, and if you sense something fishy on the first day, take action. Don't worry about what other people will think of you, because to be honest, you only live once and everybody's going to die anyway, so you might as well just make the most of it and speak the truth. It's also best for you to stay on the safe side and just keep your stuff in your dorm. Now, if you're transferring all your stuff into your dorm and whilst transferring, you happen to leave one or two items back in the kitchen, and if someone takes those items, speak up about it. Don't worry about what they're going to say. Now, I in first year was a bit wary of speaking up because I didn't want to get involved in beef. But now, touch wood, it doesn't happen again. But if it does, I know for next year, I will speak about it, and so should you. Number 3. Private accommodation is usually better, especially in Plymouth, because it's relatively cheap and you're getting lots of benefits for a decent price. And this goes back to my first point. I was grateful enough to have lived in an accommodation where there was a 24-hour reception with lovely staff, and it feels like I'm giving a review for a hotel, but to be honest, it is true, because like I said, I was able to give some of my stuff, not all of them, some of my stuff to the reception for them to keep in the cardboard box in their storeroom, because I'm going to be coming back to the same place next year anyway, so I was able to give it to them for them to just store in their storeroom. And not many accommodation services do that. If they do, great for you, honestly, but not many accommodation services on campus do that. It's mainly the private ones because they always have a reception. So you could just give it to them for them to keep, they will store it, rather than you having to transfer everything back home and you transferring it back to your new dorm. In addition to this, it's easier for you to make maintenance requests. Now, for example, I lived in a dorm which had an ensuite bathroom because, side note, if there is anything I could share in this world, sharing a bathroom is not one of them. I just could not do it, so I have to have an ensuite bathroom. So If there was any problem with my ensuite bathroom, then I could just make a little maintenance request on their little bougie app, and it would just automatically be sent across to the staff, to the maintenance staff, and they would come and fix it the next day, or they would fix it that day that I made the maintenance request itself. And in any accommodation service on campus, it will be a whole load of hassle for you to go to the accommodation service and ask them, or ask the admissions team. And some unis might have colleges, so it'll be different accommodation services for different colleges, so it would just be a whole load of hassle. Even speaking about it is a hassle, so imagine actually going through it in real life. So it's best to just live on a private accommodation. Now, also side note, if I just keep looking over here, it's probably because I'm just looking and referring back to my little list that I have, so I don't forget what to say. I made a little list so I could just make sure I tell you every single thing that I wanted to talk about in this video. Number 4, step out of your comfort zone and take the initiative to socialize, because it really does help a lot with homesickness. Now, I myself just DM'd loads of my friends who I just saw once and wanted to hang out with again in the beginning of semester 2, because it just helps a lot with your homesickness. It helps a lot with that feeling of feeling lonely and that feeling of boredom. So just take the initiative, socialize, and even if it didn't get anywhere for me, even if we didn't end up hanging out because of whatever reason, knowing that I texted first, knowing that I tried to take the initiative to socialize itself was more than enough to make a positive experience for me in uni, and it was more than enough to help with my homesickness. So just do it. It was subconscious. The feeling of being homesick would just subconsciously subside through your mind once you just take initiative to socialize with someone. So just go for it. Don't worry about what they're going to think. Number 5. This is going on into more of the deeper topics, and it's very important that you listen to this. Just because people have different interests and likes to do certain things does not mean that you have to do the same things. You are your own person. You spent 18 years knowing who you are. So do you think it's really wise to just let someone that you've met once, literally met once, dictate your whole life and change your whole persona? No. I have been in so many situations. If I went on a night out, or if I just went out with friends, if I just didn't feel like drinking, I wouldn't drink. I wouldn't get FOMO. Now, my personality never ever let me submit to peer pressure, and so I didn't ever feel the need to drink if I didn't want to drink and if everybody around me was drinking. But I know for many people, it's so easy for you to submit to that peer pressure. It's so easy for you to get FOMO. And disclaimer for the people who do want to do those kind of things, no hate to you either. I'm no one to judge you, because once again, you've spent 18 years knowing yourself, so who am I to come and judge you and say that, oh, that's not right, because if it's your type of thing, it's your type of thing. But for the people who can easily submit to peer pressure, for the people who do get FOMO easily, if you don't want to, you don't have to, okay? Don't feel worried about FOMO. Don't feel worried about the fear of missing out, because trust me, you're not missing out on anything. Number 6, if you don't like something, leave. I don't think this really requires any further explanation, and it also kind of ties in with number 5, because the number of times that I've left a place and have taken the taxi back home or walked back home is endless, you know? If you are not comfortable in a certain place and if you're not comfortable with that environment, you don't have to stay there. No one is holding you by the neck and saying that you have to stay there. You know, everybody is minding their own business, and you staying there, genuinely, honey, you staying there or you not staying there is not going to have an impact on anyone's day, on anyone's night. Sometimes my social battery would just run out and I wouldn't feel like staying in that certain environment anymore. I wouldn't be bothered to socialize, and it's okay to feel that way. It's human nature. Number 7, the biggest myth of them all is that the friendship group that you make in first year will be your lifelong friendship group. No, because chances are that friendship group you end up making in first year will not be the friendship group that you're in for the next academic year, hell, even the rest of your life. Which is why it's so important for you to socialize with many different people and not just submit yourself to hanging around the same group of people all the time. Now you're going to ask me, Laura, how do I do this? Well, one of the ways I did this was by joining a society, going into the committee and becoming president. Now I know for many people, especially when you're a first year, you're going to be like, well, can I go into the committee? Can I go into the core committee? Can I be president? And it's going to just throw you off. But again, don't worry about what other people think of you, you know? No one really said anything, and I know there's this whole kind of myth about if you're a first year you can't go into the committee. Genuinely, no one cares. If it's something that you're really passionate about, whether that be volleyball or netball or a cultural society, and if you're really passionate about it, and if you know you're good at that particular hobby or whatever it is, just go for it, you know, because like I said before, you only live once. So that was one way that I was able to tackle this kind of feeling of not hanging around the same group of people all the time and just exploring. I managed to make so many good memories. I managed to explore around the city I was in, and I managed to find out about many different things in that city, and I just made good memories, and I had many good experiences, even experiences which I learned a lot from. So hanging around with loads of people and just getting to know loads of different people rather than hanging out with the same people, it really genuinely helps. Now, just a little extra point that I wanted to make about the whole FOMO thing and the whole fear of missing out thing. It's so easy to feel like you are the odd one out because that's what the status quo has subconsciously wired our brains to think like. But trust me, there is no need to have FOMO because you are genuinely not missing out on anything important, and trust me on that. This is just the beginning of my take on uni life, especially surrounding psychology and Plymouth, so do keep an eye out for the videos that are yet to come. The feeling of starting over can be somewhat daunting, but it can also be really exciting. And remember, this is what you put your heart and soul into for 2 years, into your favorite subjects for. So welcome the new experiences with open arms. Whether it's good or bad, trust me, at the end of the day, it's all going to be worth it. Love you and see you all soon. Bye.